And welcome to Let's Get Some Answers. I am your host, Dan Wettstein. And as always, each week I bring you a new guest. We ask them some burning questions about the headlines of the sports and teams that they cover. This week, we have a good one. We got Italy Jet from the Let's Talk Sports Network. The man is a little bit all over the place. He is a Miami Heat fan, a Boston Red Sox fan, and I forgot his other fan. I'll let his other fandom come in here as well. Jets. There we go. Jets is the other one. So he hasn't been around the place, but that's okay. We don't judge here. We don't let people be stuck in boxes. We have nothing but love for Italy Jets. We appreciate him coming on. Thank you, my man, and welcome to Let's Get Some Answers.
How's it going, man? Andiamo. Hope you're having a good day.
Oh, most definitely. I'm having a great one outside of the fact that my AC's dead. So if y'all see my fat self being sweaty over here, I apologize. But the AC died yesterday.
No
We won't
judgment.
have somebody out until tomorrow.
No judgment. No judgment. I get it.
I wish I
No
had a
judgment.
little fan or something right here, man. I'm kind of dying underneath these lights right now. But before I melt, let's go ahead and get into the topics at hand, which are, ironically enough, the Heat. We're going to sit here and talk about the NBA Finals, a recap from a Heats fan perspective. Y'all have all gotten my perspective as a Nuggets fan over the last several days of me just going ham on everybody on every social. So let's get it from a Heat perspective. So how do you view the Heat's white-hot postseason and how the finals unfolded for you all?
You know, just like I said on the back end show, literally like a month or two ago, I said the Heat are going to make the playoffs. Like we're going to make the playoffs. I know people didn't have them in their top 10, but I know this team. This team has a lot of heart. Butler leading force when Bam is here, and Kevin Love, when he came here, changed the whole team. Changed the whole team because he's got unbelievable veteran presence. But not only that, he has won a championship. He knows what it takes to get there. They retired his number with the Cavaliers for a reason. He changed the behind the scenes, got Bam a little bit better, but unfortunately, it didn't really process the way things happened in the finals. But the whole playoffs, it was just historical. It was amazing. Like, people didn't think we were going to win against the Knicks, and people didn't think we were going to win against the Celtics. Even with the Sixers and stuff, no one ever thought we were going to make it. But when we get to the finals, it's a whole different ball game. Clean slate. Everything what happens in the past, it doesn't matter anymore. So when you get there, of course we're underdogs. Nuggets don't get enough respect, not only in the regular season, but as a whole. They have built a team that is very good, and they built a team that they didn't really build a super team when you think about it. They built it from the draft, free agents, waivers, and they just surround themselves with Joker and with a couple great trades with Gordon, and you got Mr. Pope there as well. It was great. But as a Heat fan, Butler and Bam weren't really clutch in the Boston end of the Knicks and going to the Boston series. And unfortunately, I didn't think they didn't really click even in the finals as well. So for me, they only showed up in the fourth quarter. So you can't do that. You know, it's basketball. You have 4 quarters. You can't do that. And even though I'm really proud and honored to be a Heat fan since I was 9 years old, there's some great things and some great magic that they did. And there's some very large question marks that we have going into the offseason.
I can definitely go on all those points. Now, back to what you said at the beginning, I am actually I was with you. I got laughed at by my own co-host on our Nuggets podcast with the fact that I said that the Heat would be a problem. They would make the playoffs and they would be an absolute problem and have a legit shot at getting to the finals. I said that it was about the end of April, beginning of May is when I put that out there. And he just laughed at me. He's like, they're not even the 8th seed. They're not even going to be in. I was like, they are going to get in. And they are going to be a problem simply for that fact of it being Jimmy Butler on that roster. He just has a dog in him. There's something that happens with that man.
Yeah.
When the postseason hits, he just transforms and transcends. It's absolutely insane. So you did touch on it a little bit there at the end. Can this iteration of the Heat return and do this again, or is some retooling necessary?
I think we could definitely do it again. I don't think we're finished. I think we'll be back in the final in either next year or the second year, maybe in the third year. But the thing is, Jimmy's getting older. He's 34, I think now. 33, 34. But the Heat Nation, we've been saying this for 3 years. Get Jimmy another third star. You gotta get that third guy, and they can't just keep counting on Bam and him. And it's unbelievable what Spoelstra has been doing with this talent. You got 6 undrafted guys, all from waivers, all from camps. I mean, it's unbelievable our scouting department and what this staff can do to produce players. And it's shown. Pat Riley, Alonzo Mourning, a lot of credit to them. And they have really blossomed. I mean, even with Tyler Hero and Oladipo out, we were fine. But we were missing them a lot. Oladipo, I've been saying this for 2 years. Oladipo is so crucial. Does he get into fights with Butler a little bit? Does he get in fights with Spoelstra a bit? Yeah, but who doesn't with their coach and with their teammates when they want to win so bad? So, Hero, everyone thinks that he was a little bit underrated, that he was a little bit of a problem. No, the dude each game scored over 20 points every single game, or the majority of the games. Tyler Hero is not the problem. He had potential to be that third star, but that there's something missing. We shouldn't have given Lowry that type of contract, and he was a little bit older, and he had a lot of weight issues coming in. You just don't do that, and I think that a lot of that had to do with Jimmy Butler. I think he really wanted him here because he won a championship and they're friends. Totally get that. But Lowry wasn't really that bad, though. I mean, he had some really clutch threes. He had some really clutch plays. I just think it's time to move on and bring in that third star. I don't think we need to do a whole revamp. Definitely not. Spoelstra is one of the best in the game. He is a legendary coach, and when he gets knocked down, he always produces to get back up. I just think we're one more star away, and we'll be back.
Okay, I can subscribe to that. I love Bam. I love Butler. I love what they do together. I think a big problem they had in the finals is they just never really got hot at the same time. It was like either one was cooking or the other. They never really got it together. And then their supporting cast, the Caleb Martin, the Gabe Vincent, they just didn't show up in the finals the way that they had previously. And touching on that, what do you believe led to the historically bad shooting from Miami in the finals, such as Max Strus only hitting 5 shots the entire finals, all 5 games?
But before I touch on that, a lot of the guys coming off the bench were clutch at times. You've seen it throughout the playoffs. You've seen it throughout the finals. I'm sorry, the playoffs in a little bit of the finals. Now, going to answer your question, I think a lot of it had to do that you had to defend Joker. I mean, Joker is the only way you're going to beat Joker is if you wear him out, because his stamina is a piece of crap. His physical body is phenomenal, and he can just take over a game. But the way Bam had to do it is you had to wear him out, because there is a way to beat guys. But if you don't wear them out and you don't get in their head early, you're going to be in trouble, and a lot of steals with this team too. But that's not it. The fact that Strus hit those 5 and everyone else, it just didn't look like we were in it. It just didn't look like we had heart. We had heart for, I don't say 3 games, and then we made it close, but you guys always came back because the reason is we only score like 90 points. We could only go maybe 80 or 90 points, and you guys can go over 100. And that's very difficult if you want to win a game. And that's what kind of led to it, and also just burning out. We kept burning out. You guys were really tough. I mean, you guys were a 2nd seed for a reason. So, sorry, my bad. I'm so sorry. 1 seed. 1 seed. I'm thinking of the Celtics. I'm thinking of other teams, so that's my bad. But yeah, that's exactly why I think, because you guys are just hot at the right time. I keep going back to St. Louis Cardinals. We were not a good team, but we got hot at the right time, and that's why we won the World Series when we had it. And that's exactly what I think Denver had.
Gotcha. I don't subscribe to the Denver just caught lightning in a bottle, but I can definitely see how that could be viewed. Now, people have been talking that y'all were exposed a bit, especially with your lack of size. So let's go ahead and let's get the offseason preview. You touched on it a little bit earlier, but What do you see happening first off with the 18th pick in the draft next week?
So I have been it's a very interesting draft because some of these guys are just you don't because we're 18th in the draft in the first round, and you just don't think some of these guys will drop, and especially being in top five. I think we figured out who would be top five, but I'm looking at Leonard Miller. I love the incredible physical tools that he has. And we need that because of the height. Just like you said about the physical, and we got exposed with being physical and the height advantage. We did. There's no doubt about that. But for me, I love a Leonard Miller, and I also love a Jet Howard from Michigan. They're now, granted, they're both a little raw, but with our team and developing young talent, I think that we can get them there. And just with the ball skills and their smart skills, I think it will be good eventually. I'm looking at those two guys for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think Denver and Miami are a couple of the few teams that you don't worry about them drafting a raw prospect because they
Exactly.
always seem to take that raw prospect. They take
Agreed.
that diamond in the rough and they shine them up and they make them look real pretty and they go out there and they shine when it matters. So I'm right there with you. Don't worry about whether or not the guy's a project. Y'all got the
Yeah, I don't
people in
care.
place to go ahead and build them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
So
just don't care.
so with that being said, that's what you see with the 18th pick. How about the free agents? Does Miami need to keep or let walk of what they have, and then what's out there?
I really see. I know Gabe Vincent is kind of one of those guys that people that the He Nation want back, and I really like Gabe Vincent. He really came up in some crucial 3-pointers, crucial plays. But let's be honest, if you want to win a championship, you got to get that third star. You got to get that third guy that when Butler and Bam are out and they're just not in it, you need someone to take over. Just like I've been saying with the whole LeBron thing, Bosh and Wade, we had depth everywhere, and we brought in Ray Allen. Like it was, it was awesome. It was awesome with these teams that we have had over these. Even when we were in the final in the bubble, right? There's always something missing. But Butler was a dog. And then sometimes when Butler would disappear with Bam, no one else stepped up to the caliber of those teams. They tried. We gave it our best because we always go until the final seconds of the fourth quarter. You can never doubt that. But you're going to need that guy that takes them over the edge. I'm looking at Damian Lillard. I'm looking at Damian Lillard with Portland. I'm looking at Kyrie Irving.
Sweet.
It is. But you know, it's Miami. We've done this before, and I hope we do it again. So you expect those expectations, even though sometimes people don't. Sometimes Pat Riley doesn't want to do that. But if you want to keep a Heat Nation happy and you want to keep Butler and Bam happy, you got to do this. Spoelstra too. So for me, I want Damian Lillard. Kyrie Irving's another one to look out for because Jimmy Butler a month ago, he had an interview with someone, I forgot where it was, but he said his favorite player that he wanted to play with was Kyrie Irving. And I think Kyrie Irving can take over a game. I know there's a lot of allegations against him when it comes to, what he did in Brooklyn, what he did with Boston, and even him going into Dallas. But man, that guy can take over a game when he's Kyrie. So I like that. Even bring in a Josh Hart. I would like Josh Hart too. He did pretty good with the Knicks. There's one more guy. I'll think of it. Oh, Beal. I would love Beal. That would be really nice too. And the thing is, we do have a good trade package. I think we can put a trade package out there and get those kind of guys because of everyone that has stepped up in this playoffs and in the offseason, and a lot of people got better. I think that's a good turning point for this team.
Right, and it doesn't hurt that Miami is your home base. No state taxes, all those things. I mean, obviously there's a lot of drawbacks to Florida. I lived in Florida, so I can say
I understand that too. Yes, sir.
Myself, but I get the allure of those two things. But touching on one that you did bring up, I love Dame, I love Beal for y'all. But the big thing this postseason has been quote unquote the hashtag Heat culture. Are you worried that a guy like a Kyrie Irving would come in and be the cancer that he has been at pretty much every stop he's been at that's not LeBron?
I mean, we've been dealing with Jimmy Butler for a few years. What's another guy going to come in and do something with? I mean, everybody knows Jimmy's an asshole. Everybody knows Jimmy is Jimmy. But you know what? They listen to him, and they always get behind him. Bam said it in behind the scenes with the Heat a couple months ago in the offseason. We know what we're going to get out of Jimmy, but Jimmy has always said we. It's always been we. It's never been him. So I think if we're going to bring in another guy, I think a lot of them will keep each other in check. I think we're going to be just fine. Adding another guy like Kyrie or someone else, I really am not worried about, because this team has proven that we can get those guys, keep them in check, and use the talent for that. I'm not worried at all.
Yeah. My thing is that the big difference between those two is, like you said, Jimmy is about we, Kyrie is about me. Mm-hmm. So that's my only worry. Like I do completely understand that he is an otherworldly basketball player. He is one of the better playmakers that we might have ever saw. He's great off the dribble. You know, mm-hmm. He does a lot of and one mixtape things that you don't really see on the floor much since, you know, Allen Iverson and those guys of that ilk back in that era. So I get where you're coming from, but to me, I would be worried. But I guess I'm not a Heat fan, so I will leave it to you on that one. So you touched on a few of some realistic things that could happen. What would be your dream free agent haul for your Heat?
I would. Damian Lillard is one of my favorite players in the league. I absolutely love that guy. And I think he would fit really well in the Heat culture. I think he would fit really well in Spoelstra's system. And also I think he would be the guy that could take over a game when people are just out and about and need just a little pump up. I think that he could do it. The only thing that concerns me about Lillard is his injury history, because you're going to get some injuries with him down the stretch, but he has proven to bounce back and he will be okay. Bradley Beal is just a solid guy. Solid guy. Would love him overall. I mean, who wouldn't want Bradley Beal? I'm just saying. So, that would be great. But as far as a trade package and people that would want, I think if you're going to get those kind of guys, because we're going to have to give up some guys for them, for these guys, I think Duncan Robinson would be one of them. He's come up big in games, and you know what, Tyler Hero, I wouldn't put Tyler Hero out there yet, but I think maybe Strus and maybe Oladipo, but I do understand Oladipo is going to be a free agent, so maybe not. But they signed some big contracts, Hero and Duncan. So you're gonna have to chip off that cap. Lowry, let go of Lowry, let him or trade him. You know, I think that could be also added. But overall, I really want these two players pretty bad.
I can definitely understand that. I mean, honestly, that would be the biggest problem the Eastern Conference would have to face next year if any of that, let alone all of that, happens. So good luck to you. Hopefully you get at least a few of those pieces so y'all have something fun to talk about in the offseason. Let's go ahead and let's switch gears away from basketball. We've all had it ad nauseum at this point. I think let's go ahead and talk football, because whoever gets tired of talking about football, right? So let's talk about your New York Jets and their offseason. Get a little bit of a review. Start off, as I'm sure you get this question all the time, are you drinking all of the Rogers Shroom tea?
You know what? If we did not get Hackett, I would be like, okay, I want Carr. We definitely should get Carr. And if we got another offense coordinator like Reich from the Panthers head coach, Frank, because he's a Long Island guy, perfect situation, perfect system, but you knew he wasn't. I know, man, great at what he does. And also, he really wanted a head coaching job. So I understand that he wouldn't come and be an offensive coordinator, because you're only banking on 1 year. You know, your job might not be here next year if the Jets all of a sudden go into a wrong direction. So I totally understand where he was at with that. If you brought in someone else like the Rams former offensive coordinator, I would like that too. But it just didn't work out. But when you're going to bring in a guy like Hackett can elevate everything when it comes to anything Green Bay. He uses tight ends really well in the red zone, and just overall, he always gets his wide receivers involved in anything. I mean, you got to have two strong running backs in that system, just like what he's had over the years with Green Bay. And I just think Hackett is a very good offensive coordinator when it comes to specific system. We know he didn't really work out with the Broncos and with Wilson. I know that he was trying to get Rodgers over there and it didn't work out. But sometimes guys are just meant to be a good offensive coordinator, and I think Hackett is. And I'm sorry it didn't work out with you and the Broncos, but I think it kind of working out now. Hats off to Peyton and Westhoff, because Westhoff's my guy. I love him. But overall, I think I'm excited. We need to break the playoff drought. It's been 12 years, Dan. 12 years. I'm sick and tired of it. We actually got a good team that we could fight for the AFC East, maybe get first or second place. And also, I think what Rodgers has shown in OTAs, what he's shown coming in immediately, everyone is on board. He's got a lot of his guys there. And you got offensive player of the year and defensive player of the year and rookies, and the rookies of them. Like, it's a lot to be excited about. I think Salah's going to take that next step. I think we got a good top 5 to 7 defense. And what we're just missing over the years was a quarterback. And I think Rodgers can do that. I think Rodgers can elevate everything when it comes up, because in his MVP seasons, when he gets pissed off, he's an MVP. When you get him pissed in a new version of Aaron Rodgers, he always comes back better. And look at Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, right? You with Peyton Manning, he went from the trade, got you a Super Bowl. Brady went to the Buccaneers, got him a Super Bowl. Man, is that awesome? Is that awesome and realistic? I think yes, but I'm a Jets fan. I take every game day by day, week by week. And yes, as you can say, I am really excited.
I get it. I did the same thing a year ago. I drank all of the Russell Wilson Kool-Aid, like all of it. Even though I was a little reticent because of the offensive line. And that's the only thing I worry about with you Jets. Like, I know your offensive line is better than what the Broncos had with Russell Wilson coming in.
This year, I think.
All the other things are absolutely there. The wide receivers, the defense, the running back, if Breece Hall comes back. All of those things are there. My only worry about y'all is the offense. Do you have any worries about that offensive line like I do from the outside?
Last year, yes. And we led the league in offensive linemen, centers, guards, tackles, everything, in injuries in that specific position the last few years. This year, we added a few depth pieces, and I'm really excited. I think the rookies are going to step up this year. The only question I have is Mekhi Becton. He's been very vocal about his position. He's been very vocal about that he wants to be left tackle, but it seems like Dwayne Brown, he's coming back. Successful surgery. He's going to have to fight for that. He was a starter last year, but you just never know. And I think Becton is going to be the true question mark. And if Mitchell and Vera Tucker can come back with the blood clot issue with Mitchell and the injury with his arm with Vera Tucker, but I think that they can. And I think with the acquisition of Billy Turner, a former Packer, with Aaron Rodgers, I think that's a good backup pickup. And when we got Schwarzberger from the
something like that.
Washington, I think that's a good solid backup pickup. But I'm always that kind of guy, is I want to know what the final cuts are. I want to know what the final roster is going to be like, and then we can be really excited. But right now, I'm taking it day by day, and I love the Joe Tippmann pick. I think he's going to start, and it doesn't hurt to have McGovern.
You like that?
It doesn't hurt to have McGovern as a backup. He was our consistent and solid center in all of the pieces last year. Doesn't hurt to have him back too.
Yeah, the Tippmann pick, I think, was one of the more underrated ones. I was really hoping to see him fall into the third round, because that was when I did my mock drafts, every single one, the first 2 picks I had for the Broncos in the third round were Hendon Hooker and Joe Tippmann. Those were my 2 guys. The quarterback of the future, center of the future. I absolutely love both of those guys. So the fact that y'all were able to plug him in the middle, I think is going to be a boon for y'all as well. And I do remember Connor McGovern, former Bronco as well. He was one of those guys we picked, I think it was the third round. Didn't work out. He ended up going to y'all guys and turned into a potential Pro Bowler. So good on y'all for developing him much better than what they did here in Denver. So real quick before we get out of here, one last question. I think you kind of answered it earlier. We'll just go ahead and put it out there more succinctly. Do you believe this is a realistic Super Bowl contender as built?
I think overall, when you're looking at it right now and on paper, yes. But if you're going to get close to the season and see what the final cuts are and a final team roster is, because recently we got Chuck Clark, he might be out with the year with an ACL injury, and we picked up Amos from the Packers, free agent. As of right now, on paper, yes, but as times and injuries come up, see what Brees Hall's all about, Vera Tucker, if they're ready, then it's going to be a playoff, yes. The AFC Championship, yes. Super Bowl, God, I hope so. But right now, on paper, definitely.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, definitely on paper. Like I said, everything looks good as long as that offensive line gels and does the things that they're supposed to do. Like keep your quarterback clean. I think
Mhm.
you'll have a legitimate shot at least at the playoffs, maybe a deep run. But with you, it's kind of a trepidation at this point, especially this early with a team that's got so many new pieces. Them all coming together and being able to go to that one goal. Sometimes it takes multiple years to get there, but hey, you also have, like you said earlier, Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford, etc., going over and turning a team into that Super Bowl contender. So it's possible Aaron Rodgers is of that ilk. I know a lot of people are going to sit there and look at what I'm saying right now, like, oh, you always bash Aaron. Well, I kind of do, but that's as a person, not as a player. He's a great player.
I'm
I
with
have
you,
my own
dude.
personal
I'm
feelings
I'm
about him.
I I'm with you. No,
Right?
I am 100% with you. The person, but is playing ability,
Yes.
two-time MVP in the last 5 years, and you can never count him out in a game. That's what I
Yeah,
like.
exactly. I mean, he's got the prettiest Hail Mary I think we've ever saw. He's got to
Yeah.
have completed more Hail Marys than any other human has in their entire lives
Oh yeah.
combined. Like it's insane what he's
You're
able to
not
do.
wrong. You're not
Right.
wrong.
So, real quick again before we get out of here, is there anything you would like to plug? Where can we find you? Let some people know some things about you before we get out of here.
Don't trade Chris Martin. That would be great. That's number one. Number two, Grand Iser 12. Yes, Jets Chaos is a personal friend of mine. I do talk to him quite a bit. Yes, that is me, Italy Jet with that. And go Jets in Miami this year. Love that. And also, I'm Italy Jet. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. WhatsApp if you want to message me for collabs or anything else, hang out. I do a lot of shows, 9 to 15 shows a week with all my favorite teams I like to do. And yeah, that's me. Thank you, Dan. You've been great, man.
No problem, man. I appreciate you coming on the show. It's been a blast. There you go, Grandizer. Gave you a little pub there as well. So make sure y'all go check out Italy Jet. He is right here on the LTS network with the rest of us in Sideline Sports. So make sure you show him some love, give him some likes, follows, subscribes, all that good stuff. And as always, hit all the red buttons for everybody. That way you can launch the nukes and clear the path so we can bring you the news the way that you deserve, which is getting you enriched and not enraged. For the Let's Talk Sports Network, the answer is 42 in Italy Jet. As always, don't question the blue. We love y'all.